My look today is giving a recently retired high school music teacher who is now a plant mom. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be talking about showing up and how that looks like, because there's this thing where even though our society is progressing and people are becoming more receptive and accepting of people being vulnerable in public and showing their emotions, there's still a lot of suppression in terms of you always want to show up as your best 10 out of 10. You always want to be out there doing the most. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes at the expense of how you truly feel and your mental well-being, it's a problem. So let's talk about it. So to start us off, we cannot ignore that we all experience life differently. Some people right now are enjoying an excellent streak where everything is working out for you, and that's really good for you. And some of us are also experiencing a few negatives here and there. So for these two people and how they choose to show up, it's not going to be the same, given that their circumstances are also not similar. And for one reason, the person who is not doing so well will always feel the need to match the other person's energy, meaning that they create this version of themselves, or they pull out this version of themselves from the closet that they know does not reflect their reality, because we're scared of being judged, or we're scared of being too vulnerable in public and all that. But why are we even thinking like that? Why is the standard that you have to be at 100? Well, society is still at a place where being vulnerable, and especially showing emotions and negative emotions at that in the general public, is still kind of frowned upon. I appreciate the progress that we've done so far, in that people are advocating for more authenticity and being more courteous and being more kind to people when they're experiencing moments in public. But the general scope of it all is that we're still not in a place where people are comfortable experiencing other people going through negative emotions, especially in public. So what I mean by that is, for example, when you see someone crying in public, maybe seated somewhere, you may be well equipped to approach them and ask them how they're doing, but for most people, they'll either walk past it or just look at them with sad eyes and just move on and all that. So most of us are not equipped to handle seeing other people being vulnerable in public, and we also know that we are not necessarily comfortable being in that position if we were the ones to experience the negative emotions. And that goes back to what I was saying, that we always feel the need to be at 100, especially out in public, because we have set up this standard for how people view us. We have a reputation. Everybody knows us for being these stoic people who don't take anything to heart, or this happy-go-lucky person who could never have a sad day. And that's why most of us feel like we can only show up as one version of ourselves, who always has to be at an optimum. So why is this way of life dangerous, where you feel the need to always be at an optimum? Well, I don't even need to go far. There's a lot of examples that we've witnessed, especially in the social media age. And for example, content creators, let's say a YouTuber who always wants their videos to be exciting and very fast-paced and all that, and then one day they just come out and make a video saying that they're going through depression, or they have nobody to turn to, and they feel the pressure to keep up with their success and all that. And you realize that a lot of us are wearing this mask in public or on the platforms that we are accessible on, and it always has to be a happy face, an excited face, a full energy face. Well, in reality, we are shutting down our human nature to express, to feel and express emotions as we should. And that's why there's a lot of meltdowns, midlife crisis, people quitting, people shutting down their businesses, their channels, whatever it may be, and just opting out of the system, because for so long they have lived this life where they had to show a version of themselves that was acceptable in society, instead of embracing who they truly are. And there's a lot of filtering that we have to do in our general society, because you don't want people to see you crying, you don't want people to know you're going through problems and all that. And I understand that. Honestly, I do. For example, when someone asks you, are you okay? Your tears, okay, the waterworks are gonna come out. So who wants to do that? But then again, it's like the danger that comes with that is that you first of all live a very fabricated life, because you filter a lot of what people know about you. And I'm not even just talking about the general public, I'm even talking about people close to you, because for some people, even hanging out with friends and whatever, you don't want to tell people your problems because you find it embarrassing, sad, you don't want people's pity and all that. So there's a lot of factors that lead to this meltdown thing, and that's why it's so dangerous, because you never know what will break you, and you never know how you react when your mind finally has enough and it just needs to offload. Understanding why living this way is so dangerous then makes it easier for you to accept showing up as different versions of yourself depending on how you are doing. And by this, I don't mean adopting multiple fabricated personalities or riding a narrative where you're going through so many things or you're extremely happy. I don't mean that. I just mean that we need to be very in touch with our emotions, and we need to validate our feelings, meaning if you're not comfortable with something, you don't need to force yourself to do it, or even if you do based on work ethics requirements or whatever, you need to know your boundaries and you need to express them in good time so that people don't push you to limits that you know you can't handle, because what comes out of it may not be something that you can get over quickly. So for a long time, showing up has been you giving your best and doing all these things that are incredible at the expense of your well-being. But I want to challenge that today by reminding you that you don't have to be at 100. There's this picture, I don't know if it's a picture or a meme, there's something, I'll try and find it and post it up, but it just shows how showing up can look on different days, and that's something you need to adopt, because it also takes away that pressure of you feeling like you need to do something and stay or stick to that standard all the time, and rob yourself of joy and rest and contentness because you need to keep up with the standard that you once set for yourself or that the people around you set for you. So sometimes showing up for yourself and showing up for others can mean taking an early break. Sometimes it can mean assessing your strengths and weaknesses to understand what you can work on, and it also means recognizing that you need time to reassess your goals and reevaluate your purpose for whatever you're doing so that you can come back with a clear mind, because sometimes you also get too invested in something that you've started and you don't want to take steps back and look at how far you've come because you're afraid people are gonna see like you're self-doubting, or even you yourself, you might see like taking time to reevaluate means that you're self-doubting, which is not necessarily true. Sometimes showing up also means setting boundaries that work for you, and that means that you're not willing to be pushed beyond your limits because you understand the fact that you'll still need to show up tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So if you spend all your energy and you give everything you have to give today at the expense of your productivity or your availability tomorrow and the days to come, then you're really doing a disservice not only to yourself but to the people who are looking unto you to deliver. So really at the end of the day, everybody loses. So instead, why not just show up for yourself by standing up for yourself or standing up for others who are around you, so that you can ensure that you're also able to take on whatever life brings to you for the future days. Now, in as much as we're talking about showing up differently, we also need to recognize that sometimes you'll be at 100, and if that happens, good for you, excellent, ride that wave and don't doubt yourself. So sometimes showing up can also mean accomplishing all your tasks and goals, ticking off everything on your to-do list, and that's perfect. But for the days that you don't have the energy, the grace, and the inspiration to get there, please don't be hard on yourself. Just remember you are a human being trying to have a human experience, and you're going to experience it differently at different days. Something to add on to is that you need to be honest and communicate with the people around you, especially when you decide to take these active steps towards changing how you show up and trying to avoid all that pressure to be at 100. Now, this can be important, especially if you're working in a group setting, or if you have like a standard corporate job, or even when you're interacting with your friends, because a sudden change in how you participate or involve yourself in activities or anything else that you're involved in can be alarming to the people around you, because they may take it as you are unwell or you are detached or you don't care anymore. So I think active communication is also a big thing that you should embrace, and you can just start by saying, today I can only handle this, this and this, so please give me time to finish it, and then if I'm able to take on something else, I will inform you. that's it. That's you asserting your boundaries and understanding that you only have so much to give for that day, and appreciating that you are open to changes if you are able to take on more as the day goes. Similarly, when you're interacting with your friends, you can be very clear with your message and say, like, guys, today I don't think I'll be able to make it for whatever you had planned, but I do hope that we can catch up another time, because there's no need for you to expend your energy when you know you're not being authentic, or when you know you're not involved or invested in the purpose. And that might sound a bit selfish, but the thing is, like I said previously, when you're not at your best and it's so obvious that you're not at your best, you also kind of make everyone else around you uncomfortable and uneasy, because they can tell something is wrong, but they may not necessarily bring it up, and they'll be walking around eggshells and everybody, so eventually everyone's experience will be ruined. So instead of going through all that trouble, why not just communicate that you are unable to do this and that, or that even if you come, you're not going to be able to be at this vibrant energy level, instead of waiting for people to take a guess about where you are mentally. So communication is a very big thing, and I think people should embrace it, because when you're making drastic changes, you're not existing alone. You have a lot of people around you, you have relationships, you have obligations to satisfy. So by not communicating, you're just living these blank spaces, and people are going to make all these assumptions about you, and it would not necessarily be for your good. So as you continue to experience life, please remember that some days will be better than others, and equally your energy will vary depending on very many different factors. And that does not mean that when you have a bad day, now everything is ruined, because you can always bounce back the next day. And that's the beauty of human resilience. In those days when you don't feel like you're at 100, please feel free to communicate that to the people who need to know this information, because it will go a long way in helping you maintain healthy relationships. And as well, you will have communicated your need to take time to rest, regroup, or whatever else that you need to do, because the last thing you want to do is to put off your time for rest, for having fun, for having energy, and achieving your goals to a later date, because that's what you call destination syndrome. If you don't know what destination syndrome is, then please watch this video up here for more information, and I'll see you on the next one. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Until the next one, see ya.